So you're currently living on the South Shore. Maybe you're in New Orleans, maybe you're in Kenner, Metairie, I don't know, Araby. Maybe you're somewhere on the South Shore, and you're thinking, man, with all this crime, with all this other stuff going on, all these freaking potholes, dude, you're thinking about making a move to the North Shore. Well, today in this video, I'm going to give you a few reasons why it might be a good idea to move from the South Shore to the North Shore. I would love your opinion in the comments at the end of this video, but make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end so you can get that info that you need. And let's get started. Hey, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know anything and everything about living in South Louisiana, especially living on the North Shore, Louisiana, you're going to want to make sure you subscribe and tap that notification bell as well so that you can be the first to learn about the current real estate market here. And if we haven't met before, I'm Carson, and my girlfriend Natalie and I are real estate agents here with Weichert Realtors Luxury Properties. We love helping people just like you with the process of buying and selling real estate. So if you're down here and you're looking to sell a house, or if you're looking to make a move to the North Shore in the next 9 days or the next 90 days, whatever it is, guys, if I've convinced you to move to the North Shore by the end of this video, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a Zoom call with us. All the contact info is in the description down below, and it all starts with you guys reaching out to us. Okay, back to the video. So like I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about why I believe that it's a good idea to move from the South Shore to the North Shore if you're considering that. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the prices. So the prices aren't drastically different, but if you're moving from New Orleans, it's going to be cheaper than what you're used to, okay? So in New Orleans, price per square foot is about $194.33. Now, on the North Shore as a whole, it's about $161, okay? So a lot lower, but you've got to factor in that Slidell has a very low price per square foot at only $133, okay? And then Mandeville and Covington are both in the $160 to $170 range, Madisonville being in the $170 to $180 range per square foot. Now the South Shore as a whole, if you include St. John the Baptist Parish, New Orleans Parish, Jefferson Parish, St. Bernard Parish, and down in Plaquemines too. If you include all that, the price per square foot is about $170 as well. So it's basically on par with that of like a Mandeville, Madisonville, Covington. And if you're moving to Slidell, you're going to be paying a lot less than you would if you're coming from, say, New Orleans at $194 per square foot. So you can expect to pay, if you're moving to Mandeville, Madisonville, and you're coming from maybe the suburbs of New Orleans, you can expect to pay about the same amount. If you're coming from New Orleans, there's pretty much nothing on the North Shore that's more expensive than New Orleans. And there is also the safety factor, of course. I know many of you living in New Orleans are seeing it happen all the time. There's a ton of crime, more than there's ever been, really, and it's getting bad. I know it's bad out there, and I go to New Orleans. I travel to New Orleans, and I think it's a fun time if you go during daytime. You know what I mean? You can have a good time in New Orleans. It's a good experience, good culture. Love the traditions, beautiful architecture in New Orleans. But the main thing is the culture that I love about it. I love the city, but the crime is just getting bad, guys. And I know you guys know that. And I've got some statistics from the FBI, okay? So this is the FBI data on a range from 0 to 100, with 100 being the highest crime and 0 being zero crime. Mandeville is rated a 13.4. New Orleans is rated a 49.1, which means it's essentially 4 times, right at 4 times worse as far as crime goes than Mandeville. Now the US is at a 22.7, which means Mandeville is lower than the US average as far as crime goes. New Orleans is about double. Okay, so you've got a lot of crime going on in New Orleans according to the FBI, and we don't need the FBI to tell us that. I know you guys know that, but you should know that Mandeville, if you look at these numbers, is 4 times less, or has 4 times less the amount of crime as you're seeing in New Orleans. Now, I couldn't find too much data on Covington, Madisonville, and Slidell as far as this FBI data goes, but If I find it, what I'm going to do is link it down in the comments. So if you're curious to know what the numbers are for those cities, just look down in the description and see if I found it and put it in there. So what else is different about the North Shore if you're living in the South Shore? Well, guys, the infrastructure is a little bit better over here on the North Shore, okay? So we've got basically no potholes. There's some here and there on Lee Road over in Covington and the Bush area. There's a couple potholes here and there, but guys, New Orleans is filled with potholes. There's so many potholes. I say it all the time that it looks like the craters on the moon. Like, it looks like there was a meteor shower. It's bad out there, guys. Every time I go to New Orleans, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna pop a tire. It's bad. My parents bought a rental property over in East New Orleans, Sims Avenue, if y'all know where that's at. It's basically on real close by the lake right there, and that road is filled with potholes. So many potholes. You can't even drive that street at nighttime because you're gonna run into a hole. But look, overall, I'm telling you, come take a trip over here, guys. There is no potholes. The infrastructure is so much better over here on the North Shore. Now you might be wondering, you know, I love the city of New Orleans though. It's got the potholes and it's got the crime, I know that, but I just love the experience of the city. Well, guys, if you're in Mandeville, if you're in Covington, or even Slidell, you're still not that far away from the city. If you want to even, you know, go there for work, or if you're going to go there for fun, for play, for nightlife, etc. If you want to go to New Orleans, you're only about 35 to 45 minutes away from the French Quarter, from the Central Business District, and from the airport. And, you know, even Slidell, including Slidell, 35 to 45 minutes is what we're looking at. The longest it's going to take you, if there's traffic, is maybe an hour, depending on where you're coming from. But I can easily get from here in Madisonville, I can get to the Central Business District in under 40 minutes, no problem. I can get to the airport at about 45 minutes here from here in Madisonville. So you're still not that far if you're worried about that. But yeah, so you are pretty close to New Orleans and to the airport anyways, so whatever you like to do over there, just know you will be able to access New Orleans fairly easily. The only downside in that being that you do have to pay a $5 toll to go across the causeway from North Shore to the South Shore. But if you take the twin span, if you take the Slidell route, you don't have to pay that toll. So especially if I'm going to Chalmette, if I'm going to show houses in Chalmette, for instance, you best believe I'm taking Slidell, because why would I pay the $5 toll on the causeway when I could just take the twin span and not have to pay it? So I'll go that route if I'm going to Chalmette. If I'm going to New Orleans, I might take it, but if you add up the gas money, when gas prices were high, it was the same amount to drive the extra to get on the twin span as it was if I just you know, went across the causeway and paid the $5. I'd be spending, essentially what I'm saying is, I would be spending the $5 in gas just to take the extra 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, to go through Slidell to New Orleans. But anyways, there's also the fact that the school systems are pretty dang good on the North Shore. And I pulled up some statistics on these schools. Well, not really statistics, but ratings by niche.com. I use niche.com for a lot of my research for these videos for you guys, but let me read off what some of the rankings are for the school systems on the North Shore, okay? So in Mandeville, all A's. Public schools and private schools, all rated A's by niche.com. Mandeville, by the way, this is a statistic that I like to tell people. This is something that I like to bring up about Mandeville when they ask me about it. Mandeville is ranked by niche.com as number 3 and 304 for the best places to raise a family in Louisiana, in the entire state, not just on the North Shore, not just St. Tammany Parish. In the entire state, it's number 3 out of 304. So that's a really cool one that I like to share with people. If anything sells Mandeville, it's going to be that ranking that it got. But anyways, Covington, all the private schools are A's in Covington. The public schools are A's and a couple B's. No C's, but all A's and B's as far as public schools go. And then private schools, all A's in Covington. But anyways, Madisonville too. Madisonville's got a good school system. Madisonville has A's pretty much all across the board, public and private school. all A's by niche.com. I think there was one B that I saw, but primarily A's. So Madisonville's good. So far, Mandeville's the best. Slidell's got, let's see, all A's for public schools. Slidell is just killing it with the public schools, and a few B's for the private schools. So believe it or not, Slidell's got better public schools than it has private. But if you just take that for what it is, it looks like Mandeville is going to be the place to go if your primary need is to get your kids in a good school system, if you're worried about them getting a really good education, etc. Mandeville's got all A's across the board, public and private. And I went to Mandeville High School. That's where I graduated from, and I thought it was great. I didn't have any problems with the school. I thought it was a great school. Had a lot of fun. But in all seriousness though, I love it over here on the North Shore. I think you guys would love it over here. Why don't you come over sometime and grab some coffee with me? I'm serious. I haven't made any videos for locals like this before, but if you're on the South Shore somewhere and you want to come over and check out Mandeville and meet me, let's go get some coffee, let's go get some lunch or something. Just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, schedule a Zoom call with us. All contact info is in the description down below, guys. Just reach out, and especially if you're looking to make a move in the next 9 days or the next 90 days, or if you got a house to sell down here in South Louisiana, go ahead and reach out to us, guys. It all starts with you reaching out to us. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys got some value out of this. I hope I've convinced you to make that move to the North Shore. But anyways, like, subscribe, tap that notification bell as well, and I hope to show you around town.